That's pretty much how things went down. Those are the facts of the IS-7 as far as I'm concerned. I'm finally learning the truth about my father's last case. So what happened at the trial? Well, we lost. Von Karma did a real number on us. Really? You couldn't prove that Mr. Tangaroa was innocent? Oh, we could prove it all right. Had a decent little pile of evidence in our favor. Problem was, we underestimated Von Karma. He fought even dirtier than we'd feared. I can imagine. Secure a conviction at all costs. That was always his guiding principle. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Anywho, the trial dragged on and on. The whole thing took about a year in the end. I'll never forget the day the verdict came down. December 28th, that following year. It's April now, so, ooh, mama, we're talking over 17 years ago. Time sure does fly, huh? December 28th. I was there that day, 17 years ago, sitting in the courtroom gallery. Just before the trial got started, Gregory noticed that Samson was looking even worse than usual. Turns out the poor guy had finally reached his limit. It was so bad, even said he wanted to be found guilty. Wait, you mean they forced a confession out of him? Yeah. Von Karma got what he'd been pushing for from the very start. The beginning. And when Gregory tried to drop the bombshell about there being no body to speak of, he learned that Von Karma had used the power of the police to head him off at the pass. He had himself a fake autopsy report, but that wasn't the end of it. Von Karma had gotten Samson to falsely testify against himself for being an accessory to murder in court. Combined with his confession, the poor guy's goose was well and truly cooked. But Gregory still had his ace in the hole, though. The same ace he asked Detective Bad to help him with. Exactamundo. He knew he needed one last card to play if they squeezed a confession out of Samson. So he had Bad record all of Samson's interrogations. I guess Detective Bad really wanted to know the truth too, huh? We all did. He was a trooper. Stayed with the case even after Von Karma took him off of it. He was tied up in some other big case too. Good old Bad. They don't make him like that anymore. Anyway, Gregory presented the recordings as proof that Samson's confession was coerced. And you know what? It almost worked. A cop named Ian Seidman got fired. Samson's interrogator and the initial detective before Bad. He took the fall for pretty much the whole thing, but Von Karma didn't get away scot-free. In fact, he was disciplined by the chief prosecutor for the one and only time in his 40-year career. Still, Samson himself couldn't stomach another day in court. So when that guilty verdict came down, it didn't just signal the end of that day, but the whole sad affair. I don't remember a lot myself, but my father's face when they declared Mr. Tangaroa guilty. I was a young child at the time, but even I could tell how much he was hurting inside. Gregory wanted to appeal the ruling, of course. He would have done anything to clear Samson's name. Then, well, you know what happened next. Poor guy. He never got the chance. I should have left with him that day. I'll always blame myself for not doing that. But I shoved that aside and obsessed over something else instead. Or rather, someone else. I hated what you did. Hated you for choosing to stick with Von Karma. I hope you can forgive me. No, you had every right to hate me. I went on to become a prosecutor as planned. That's when Mr. Von Karma showed me his case file. Oh, this case file. According to these records, Mr. Tangaroa was convicted as the main culprit in Mr. Frost's murder. No. Nope, that's not right. Samson was convicted as an accessory to murder. Strange. This file clearly states that he was the perpetrator. Plus, I'm fairly certain that all of Mr. Von Karma's cases were successfully solved. Mind if I take a peek at those? This file's been doctored. The part about the verdict. It's been changed. What? Here, feast your peepers on this. Samson Tangaroa, age 39, organizer of confectionery contest. Victim's body was found inside one of his creations, leading to his arrest. While in detention, Tangaroa discovered that he had a taste disorder, which was consequently cured via medication. Subsequently, verdict convicted as an accomplice based on his confession. Convicted as an accomplice? That's a copy of the file they have on record at the courthouse. Then why is my copy so different? Well, you said it came from Von Karma, yeah? My guess is he didn't want Gregory's son thinking there was a murderer out there still at large. Didn't want you looking into it again before the statute of limitations was up. So everything I believed about the case was a lie? Like they say, we all gotta start somewhere. What's important is you know what's what now. The statute of limitations may have run out, but the truth's still out there, you know? I inherited Samson's case when your old man passed. The prosecution handed it off to somebody else, too. The great Von Karma wasn't going to bother facing off against a rookie like me, was he? Anyway, long story short, the killer was never found, and Samson was found guilty instead. That's terrible. Is there really nothing we can do to help him? Not without the real perp, I'm afraid. Until then, his confession stands. Speaking of which, I didn't find out until after the verdict had been handed down, but Von Karma had threatened Samson and made him a deal. Told him if he didn't confess, he'd make sure Judy was convicted instead. How could he? Samson knew there was no way Judy could have done it, of course. But he wasn't going to take any chances, so he did what he was told and confessed to keep her safe. Now, riddle me this, Milesy boy. Why do you think your Uncle Eddie just happened to be in prison the day Bronco Knight died? Ah, that's right. You were there to see Mr. Tangaroa? Bingo. Judy and I both promised we'd visit him every day. I didn't quite keep that promise. Judy did. She never missed one visit in all these years. Come rain or shine, she always showed up. But none of that changes the fact that Samson is still being unduly punished day after day. Oh, heartbreaking. Gotta do something, Mr. Fender. Well, kiddo, that's actually why we came here. The ice sculptures are back on display, just like they were all those years ago. And we're going to see what we can find out, right, Miles Areno? I'm a prosecutor, Fender. I don't look at these things in the same way as you or my father, Miles. But that doesn't matter right now. Speaking not as a prosecutor, but as Miles Edgeworth. I want to know the truth behind both of these cases, and I'm not leaving until I do. You really are old Gregory's son, through and through. Alrighty then, now that that's sorted, we can really get to work. Good thing I brought the IS-7 case file and evidence with me today, huh? Here, documents first. Who doesn't love paperwork, am I right? Parts in red ink are my annotation. offender. And here's some evidence for you. Enjoy. There's quite a few, so I'd take a minute to scope them out if I were you. Small mountain of evidence. I love it. Yes, I see. I'll take a look at them in a bit. You know, our current case is just full of loose threads, too, come to think of it. Dude, he players of that incident 18 years ago who just happened to get caught up in another incident. The ice sculptures in the winter wing that are perfect replicas of the ones from 18 years ago. The poison gas attack in the autumn wing, which has been disguised to look like the winter wing. The two chemicals that were found inside the Pisces statue's display case, ubiquium and asphyxiant, that form a poisonous gas when mixed together. The victim of the gas attack, Carmelo Gusto, was no stranger to the events of 18 years ago, and who's still unconscious and undergoing treatment in the medical room. And finally, we come to the body floating face down in the fountain. And the fact that the ice sculptures have melted, just as they did all those years ago. The events of the present day would appear to be intimately linked with the events of the past. Which means they may be able to help us learn more about what happened 18 years ago. Sounds good to me. Let's get investigating. God, this little... I hate this dude. Oh, no, you don't? Are you forgetting somebody? I could have sworn this is my investigation. Eustace is quite right. I do hope you aren't intending to obstruct him in his duties, Mr. Edgeworth. I would hate to have to add a guilty to my report to the committee. What am I guilty of now? Of course not. I am simply offering once again to do what I can to help with the investigation. Your offer is duly noted and duly declined. Oof. Isn't pulling any punches. The identity of the body from the fountain is currently being ascertained. It's only a matter of time until we have all the information we need. Perhaps I can help you speed that process along. I think I have an idea of who our mystery victim might be. What? Really? Then you have to tell me. It's the law. Very well. Maybe it isn't just the ice sculpture that have Maybe it isn't just the ice sculptures that have resurfaced after 18 years. The body in the fountain may be a visitor from the past.
Take that!
I believe the body in the fountain is that of the man who was murdered here 18 years ago, Mr. Artie Frost. What? You're saying that was poor Chillywinks? Wait. Who the heck is Chillywinks or Artie or whoever it is you're talking about? Artie Frost was a famous sculptor, Eustace, although he's better known as Paul Halik. The sculptures on display here are all his works. No way. Sounds like he did well for himself. Always good to encounter a fellow winner. Mr. Frost was also the victim in the IS-7 incident. Dr. Bell knows about the IS-7 incident? Mr. Edgeworth, the IS-7 incident is an 18-year-old case. And according to police records, the victim's body was recovered and an autopsy duly carried out. Sure, that's what the records say, but the records can't always be trusted. What are you insinuating? That while the records still say stuff like body totally recovered, the defense back then begged to differ. Not that it stopped the prosecution from shutting him down hard, of course. Yeah, this is Winter. What? Really? What is it, Eustace? The body, we've got an ID. Some sculpture called Frost or something, so I guess Edgeworth called it? Goddess of justice! So my father's deductions were right all along. Well, Judge Gavale? I say this changes things, wouldn't you? Perhaps now you'll admit that I might be of use to this case. More than a certain junior prosecutor, anyway. No fair! You're trying to steal the win. I'm doing no such thing. All I want is to uncover the truth, as if you could figure this one out anyway. I don't like this kid. I can't. Every time he hits himself with a stick, it makes me feel good. So, if we're going to get to the bottom of whatever happened here, we'll need to work together. We do not need to do anything, and you do not need to know the truth. This case is none of your concern.
Objection!
Look, bitch. Oh, this woman is infuriating. Whoa there, Judge G. I think you might be wrong about that. Another of your interruptions, Mr. Fender? Yup. See, I was on the defense team for the IS-7, so this case is very much my concern. I was one of the pesky kids pushing the theory that the body had actually gone missing. The prosecutor at the time may have brushed us off, but you can't deny the testimony of your eyes. Or to put it a little more bluntly, the prosecution's case was rotten from the ground up. When there's been a miscarriage of justice caused by the prosecution, it's the committee's job to fix it, no? Who better to help you unpick this mess than someone who was there at the time? Unless you have an ulterior motive. Get her. Get her. Judge Gavale seems to know the facts of the IS-7 in some detail. In which case, I suspect she must be here on the committee's behalf. Your connection to the case is noted, Mr. Fender, but I fail to see how it concerns Mr. Edgeworth. He's the son of the original defense attorney and the protege of the case's lead prosecutor. If that's not enough for you, he was at the trial, too. I think it's just possible he might have a little something to bring to the table, don't you? Very well. You may both assist in the investigation, but only if you refrain from interfering with the work of others. The winter wing is off limits for now. This room, however, is all yours. Alrighty, great to hear we're on the same wavelength, G. Why don't we bring it in to show we're all on the same side of justice? Do not test me, Mr. Fender. Your permission to investigate can be revoked at any time. Duly noted, Your Honor. This is a turn-up for the books, huh, Milesy? We get to do our thing after all. Thanks to your immeasurable help, as always. The sweat. Besides, I was mostly doing it for me. Okay. I'll be investigating my own thing. So just holler if you find something interesting. I love how he actually says, okay. I will. Well, okay, shall we? Heck yeah, let the investigation commence. We're still unclear on two key facts. How Mr. Frost's body came to be where we found it, and the source of the ubiquium. You're right. We need some more intel. Indeed, let's focus on the ubiquium first and foremost. It's used in stuff like dish soap and paint, right? Correct. It's also bright red in color and has a distinctive minty fragrance. Minty? Okay, sounds like we know what we're looking for. Alright, well, first of all, I'm kind of curious to see what the hell was handed over to me. I-7. Hampton Tangaroa's mansion, Tangaroa's room. December 24th, 18 years ago, because I want to avoid putting a year in. 2000. Murder weapon, rock salt lamp, prosecutor from Karma. fired 3 years ago. Oh god, that's not even like close. Organizer of confectionery contest. Victim's body was found inside of one of... Victim, also known as Paul Halik, under which name he was a renowned sculptor in France. Confectionery contest. Body was discovered in the room. Cause of death was blood loss following a blow to the head. No detailed autopsy report due to the blood missing. And the picture. Okay. Go towards the luminous cloth. I'm able to... From that yet. Sketched. Poison. Cookbook. Fingerprints. Rock salt. Oh. And the family photo. Interesting. Alright. This Bounds tea set is laid out neatly on the serving cart. The pamphlet says the gallery is famous for its tea. Understandably so. The cup we were given was delicious. Looks like all this stuff was designed by Mr. Frost. Interesting. In that case, I think we better take a closer look. So, this dishware was made by Artie Frost. Looks very fancy. Oh, it is. I'm willing to bet that this set can fetch something in the thousands of dollars. Let's try not to touch any of it unless we absolutely have to. Oh, this stuff's really worth that much? Stop it, Kay. I can see your eyes lighting up. That shit better be made of actual gold. That must really be a fan. Hey, Edgy. Oh, hey, Edgy. What is it? You be careful with that teapot, you hear? Why is Larry so concerned all of a sudden? Honored guests. I can pour you a cup if you like. Now. Ah, Judy. I'm good, thanks. No tea for me. You two knock yourselves out. Thank you for the offer. Yes, why not? A quick break won't hurt. Two cups coming right up. Okay, well, don't hit the button like I wanted to. This smells great. Starship glass is wild, or mug is wild. Wow, it tastes even better than it smells. What type of tea is this, Mr. Edgeworth? Ceylon tea, I believe. It's usually identifiable by its citrus aroma, but Miss Bound, is this the same blend you served earlier this morning? Why, yes. Is it alright? There isn't anything wrong with it, is there? Oh, no, not at all. It's just that the cup you gave me earlier had a slightly different aroma. Really? That's odd. I used the exact same blend both times. I can't see what could account for the difference. Hey, what's the big idea? Quit being mean about Judy's tea, will ya? What's gone under your skin, Larry? Nothing. You're just rude, that's all. You don't even try to call me by the right name. It's Laurice Donham, dang it. You know what? I'm done. I'm not talking to you anymore. That was childish even for him. Wow, what happened there? Let's ask him about it later, shall we? I think Miss Bound is more of a priority right now. May not have any evidence to prove that she's the culprit, but it does seem likely that the poison gas was her doing. What a fucking bitch. From the color and aroma, I'd say this is a puddle of spilt tea. Like vomit. And look, there's a small chunk of ceramic in it. I guess somebody must have broke something. I know that insignia. And a certain high-strung somebody just might know a little something too. Sculpture of a brave warrior battling against a serpent. Did Paul Halik make this one too, Mr. Edgeworth? He did. It seems he was fascinated by fantasy and mythology. This piece embodies the tragic yet gritty determination of the young as they face an impossible situation. It's called the math test. Talk about relatable. He's holding a snake. It looks like he's gonna hold it. I'm going to keep this simple, Larry. You're hiding something, so just tell me what it is. Oh, quit it with the glare off, you two. It's weird. Aw, come on, Kay. You know me better than that. I wasn't staring. I was struck by an idea for a picture. Now, Edgy, he was glaring. Yes, and I'll keep glaring at you until you tell us what it is you're hiding. Quit it! I already told you, I'm not talking to you anymore. You're talking to me right now. I mean, from now on, I'm not talking to you ever again. Starting now. I'll have to figure out what he's hiding first before I can get the whole truth out of him. I know what to do. Would you mind taking a look at this for me, Larry? Why did you show me that? Tell me, what is it about Miss Bound's tea set that's got you so agitated? You won't tell me. Or perhaps you prefer to explain it to Judge Gavale? Wait, don't make me look bad in front of Verity. She thinks I'm sensible, cool. She thinks I'm a sensible, cool, clean-cut guy. I don't want her to see the real me. The real lowdown is dirty. The real lowdown dirty me. I'm not so sure anybody here thinks you're particularly clean-cut, Larry. But if you don't want to hear her, if you don't want her to think badly of you, the best thing you can do is talk to me. Right, I'll talk. I'll talk. Alright, Larry, enough is enough. Now confess. Any way to treat your best friend, Edgy? Is there any way for you to treat yours by lying to him? Hiding things? Ooh, snap. I get the picture already, so stop glaring at me like that. I'll tell you everything, okay? Earlier, I thought Verity might like a cup of tea, so I went to pour one for her. But I got distracted and my hand slipped and smashed. I broke the teapot, a priceless work of art. It's in pieces because of me. No words exist to describe how far away I saw this coming from. Ouch, she really messed up this time, Maurice. See, Edgy? Everyone's going to think less of me now. Judy's never going to forgive me for this. Crying to me won't do you any good. I think you need to apologize to Miss Bound. My teapot? I see. I'm sorry, Judy. I'm so sorry. I don't have any money, but I'll paint your portrait. I'll paint you 50 portraits. Please, Mr. Donor. It's really me who should be apologizing. How could I have failed to notice that there were broken pieces of ceramic on the floor? Somebody could have been hurt. Here, let me make sure that this is safely disposed. The teapot in question was designed by Artie Frost, correct? I understand it was something you long treasured. You must be upset. Oh, I am. But of course, all things break eventually. And as luck would have it, I have another identical teapot. It's far from the end of the world. Less intact than Mr. Frost's broken shoes. I can't believe this, Judy. You're the sweetest, the kindest. Ah, this other teapot you're talking about. It's the one sitting on top of the cart right now, right? What do you mean? Yeah, so when I smashed the first one, I tried to hide the pieces in the bottom of the cart. And that's when I saw that other pot under there, so I took it out and basically switched the two pots. Oh, I see. Yep, that's everything I have to tell you. I'll be extra careful not to break the other one, I promise. You have no shame whatsoever, do you? I'm sorry. It's really quite alright. Thank you for being so honest. See, Edgy, isn't Judy the absolute best? I trust you won't take advantage of her kindness and will make amends somehow. I sure will. Once I make it as an artist, I'm going to give her one of my paintings. She was one of my models, after all. It's only fair. At this rate, I suspect he's likely to make more trouble than amends. Do you think it would be better for you to keep out of her way for a very long while? Oh, but I will be keeping out of her way. Because I sketched her and the others already. Her and the others? Keen to see my work, huh? Yeah, I drew a few great sketches of some ravishing beauties. Want to see? Interested in Laurice's ravishing beauties, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm afraid you're greatly misjudged, Kay. I simply wish to see if Larry had captured any unusual details this time, too. Plus, Edgeworth is a homosexual, don't you? Unusual details? Nothing unusual about these. They're my best work yet. Really? Now I want to see them, too. Aw, you're a sweetheart, Kay. Alright, let me dig them out for you. Give me a sec, okay? Suppose we might as well take a look. So, these sketches of yours. Seriously, Edgy, if you wanted to check out my art, you should have just said so from the get-go. Here, feast your eyes on this. That's decent. Wow, he's good. He's actually good. What am I looking at? I told you already, ravishing beauties. Just a few of the fair faces that have caught my eye since I've been here, you know? There's Verity and Judy and somebody else. Why did you draw them all on the same page? Well, I meant to draw the room first, just something to pass the time. Then I saw one beauty and another, and well, I just scribbled them all down as I went. These were all drawn at different times? Huh? Yeah, I guess. I did one of you, Kay, too. I did one of you too, Kay. You're on a different page, though. Wow, you did? I'm flattered. How true to life are these sketches? Did you only draw what you actually saw? Of course. You think I draw things I can't see? Like using my imagination? Nope, these are 100% true to life, right down to the exact shade of each color. Colors are accurate. Larry made him provided me with a useful piece of evidence yet again. Serving cart in the sketch, for example, if I compare it to the one here in the room, there's a clear contradiction between the two. I think a little deduction is in order. Can I borrow this page for a while, Larry? Sure thing. You want me to sign it for you? Just the page, please. The fact that he's actually good is so stupid. Alright, examine the service card again and deduce. 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 Could this be related to the evidence somehow? Eureka! Larry, could I ask you something about your sketches? Fascinated by the work of the great Laurice Donham, huh? It's the composition, right? Not exactly. Slight blue tablecloth you painted that's exactly as you saw it, correct? Oh, you painted that exactly as you saw it, right? I already told you, everything was exactly as I saw it. But the tablecloth on the cart here in this room is white. Wow. Your head's so full of crazy theories, the simple stuff just passes you right by, huh? What's that look for? Listen, just before I drew that sketch, I was in the middle of some business with the cart with the tea set on it, okay? What kind of business? What kind of business? That's right. It was the hiding the pieces of the teapot I smashed kind. That's nothing to boast about. Anyway, I was still in the middle of cleaning it all up when Judy came out of the winter wing. I didn't want to get busted for breaking the pot, so I quickly dove out of sight. Wait, Miss Bowen came out of the winter wing? Yeah, and she was pushing a cart. A different one. That's the one with the light blue tablecloth on it that I drew. And what did she do with the second serving cart? Oh. I saw her wheel it into the summer wing, but I don't know what happened to it after that. When she came back out, she was pushing one of those other carts. The kind you can lift stuff with. A lift cart? Yeah, so I called out to her, but she just ran off and left it behind. Never had her down as a shy type, but it just goes to show, you never know. Another serving cart and a lift cart? Is there maybe another tea set too? We'd better check with Miss Bowen. Ding ding dong! Ding ding dong! I suspect the difference in aroma we noticed is due to the teapots having been switched. You do? I can't see what else it could have been. The tea itself hadn't changed. Why don't we ask Miss Bound just to be sure? Miss Bound, the difference in aroma we noticed, do you think it could have been because of the different teapot? I suppose so. My cup just now had a subtle minty scent, rather like uva tea. Oh, I just remembered. I made some peppermint tea in that pot only yesterday. That must be where the minty aroma is coming from. Could be it. The tea from the teapot Larry switched in from under the cart smelled faintly of mint. Right, Miss Bound said she used that pot to make peppermint tea yesterday. Yes, but there's something else that's been troubling me. Miss Bound seemed more taken aback by the switching of the teapots than the breaking of one. You're right, you'd expect it to be the other way around. I suspect she might have been deliberately hiding the teapot underneath the cart. But why? One of Ubiquium's key characteristics is its minty fragrance. So what if she'd been hiding some in the teapot? What? In the teapot? It's simply a possibility. One worth investigating, I believe. Mr. Winner, any luck finding that Ubiquium? Huh? Oh. My people are searching the entire gallery, but they haven't found anything. And what about you? Don't tell me you know where it came from. I may have an idea. Oh. Ah, I knew it. If I can't find it, there's no chance of use of... What? You do know where it came from? Yes. Where? Miss Bound's teapot. Wow, a nice piece. I like it. Yeah, this looks like a fitting prize for a natural-born winner. It's not a prize, it's a vital piece of evidence. Oh, it's just evidence? Then I'll have one of those forensic people check it out. Mr. Edgeworth, is there some sort of problem with my teapot? Possibly. The minty fragrance we notice coming from it. I think it just might be the scent of one of the chemicals used to make the poison gas. But, Mr. Edgeworth, really, you don't think I had anything to do with that? I'm afraid I do. The method used to create the gas would have required considerable preparation. But he would have had the time or the opportunity to set that up except you. It's not strictly true. It took around a week to get Zodiac Hall ready for the exhibition. There were all kinds of people coming and going through here during that time. Alicia, for one. You see, I'm not the only person who could have set it all up. Or set it up at all. Oh, Miss Scone is on our radar too, of course. You needn't worry about that. And besides, I wouldn't know the first thing about making poison gas. So even if you did find something ubiquitous in my teapot, I wouldn't have had any idea what to do with it. But I suppose we should see what the test results say first. Bound claims to know she doesn't know the first thing about making gas. I'll find a way to prove she's lying. Where were you before you rejoined us here, Miss Bound? I had to go until our visitors were closed. Oh, and hand out a little something in apology. Was there something you wanted to talk to me about? Yes, a few things, actually. Not least of all. The fact that I think you might be the one who set the poison gas trap. Are there 2 serving carts here at the gallery, Miss Bound? Oh, yes. Why do you ask? A certain so-called artist showed us this sketch. I couldn't help but notice the color of the tablecloth. It's light blue. Light blue? I'm afraid your friend must be mistaken. I only use white tablecloths, freshly laundered and starched. Like the perfect wrinkle-free one on the cart here in the fountain room, right? Exactly. If I saw so much as a blemish, I would replace it right away. The color of the tablecloth in that sketch simply be a mistake on Mary's part? Do you have any idea what you might have been doing when this sketch was drawn? I see. I appear to be carrying out my usual duties. I'd like to ask you a little more about these duties, if I may. What exactly were you doing when this sketch was drawn? Because from what I can see, your cart doesn't have a tea set. I was delivering some chocolates to the investigating officers. Aw, now I'm jealous. I love chocolate. Well, there were a few left over, so here for you both. Them myself. I hope you like them. Woohoo! Hee thanks, Miss Bound. Well, why not? That's it, but I suppose it's because they've been sitting around in her pocket. They're super sweet. I love them. I'm very glad to hear it. I may not be the prettiest, but I'm grateful for the energy boost nonetheless. Though perhaps they could do with a little less sugar. The original ice sculptures melted 18 years ago, correct? How did you manage to recreate them? Oh, do you know about what happened back then? In that case, you might also know I took pictures of them during the contest. I commissioned the creation of a set of replicas based on those photographs for this current exhibit. But why go through the trouble of creating replicas? Mr. Frost Zodiac series was his great unfinished masterwork. I wanted to see it completed at last. Or rather, pre-completed. It was my fault that the original set melted in the first place after all. I see. Is there any reason why the... any particular reason why the... I see. And is there any particular reason why the winter and autumn wings look so different? Oh my. I really think they look alike. Perhaps I used some of the decorations from one and the other by accident? You're clearly lying. I don't have the evidence to prove it just yet. Oh my god. Yes, we've been through all this. Okay, bye-bye. Seems the police have already removed the body. Why did the body of a victim from 18 years ago turn up in this fountain? And why wasn't it rotten and stuff? Did it slowly shuffle its way here? To remind you that zombies aren't real. It seems likely that the body was preserved somehow. Really? Is that even possible? Hey, Mr. Forensics guy, anything to report? Yes, ma'am. Traces of both ubiquium and asphyxian have been detected in the fountain. I'm gonna say they were probably carried here by the stream from the autumn wing. In addition to those two chemicals, there's also a large amount of sugar. The composition of the sugar is being analyzed as we speak. There's sugar in the fountain? Where would it even have come from? Edgeworth speaking. Sir, it's me. Is everything alright, Detective? Everybody's left the winter wing. It's just me in here now. Means I can tell you what we found out. Really shouldn't be sharing information about the investigation, but after the past week or so, I'm not about to stop him now. The exhibits in here have all completely melted. All that's left in the display cases is some stuff at the bottom. More of it in the Taurus case than the Gemini case, though. Describe this stuff for me if you can. Yes, sir. It's like a pale blue liquid. I had the lab run some tests just now. The sample from the Taurus case just had a bunch of sugar in it. But the one from the Gemini case had 3 different substances in it, which were sugar, salt, and blood. Blood? What are salt and blood doing in the Gemini's case sample? I can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir. Please do, Detective. Oh, I also spoke over the radio with the forensics guy working in the fountain. He said he just got word that the sugar they found in the fountain matches the sugar in the pale blue liquid. Yeah, you can see that might well prove to be a significant development. Anything else to report, Detective? Yes, sir. We found one of those light-emitting devices here in the winter wing, too. There are a few of those being used in the autumn wing to disguise it as the winter wing, as I recall. It seems that the equipment from 18 years ago is more than just for show. I need to talk to Miss Scone about this. Anyhow, I better be getting back to it. I'll let you know as soon as we hear from the lab about that blood. Yes, Detective? Was that Gummy? Seemed like he had a lot to say. He did, and all of it very useful. Claims about he could have set up the gas trap are false. Talk to a certain somebody else who was here 18 years. Miss Scone, I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. Of course, dear. Fire away. Anything for you, Milesy Smilesy. And dear, sweet little Tooth Decay. Ooh, girl. I'd appreciate it if that was the last time you called me Milesy Smilesy. I'm not a fan of Tooth Decay either. Well, you'll just have to like it or lump it. I can't change the nickname once I've settled on it. Ugh. Well, I guess we tried. What can you tell us about the various devices used to decorate the gallery's exhibits? There seem to be some pretty specialized items in use. Light-emitting devices, luminous fabrics. Oh, I can tell you all about those, dearie. After all, I'm the one who gave them to Moody Judy. It was my way of saying sorry after I broke the rules all those years ago. I bought her 4 lovely new salt lamps, and I gave her the 4 pieces of luminous cloth I used for the contest. Wow, that's super generous of you. Well, us girls have to do our best, don't we? Not everybody understands, of course. That had better not be a dig at me, Delish. I told you how kind I thought it was. Yes, back when you were a dear, sweet, innocent baby boy. What happened to you, eh? A dear, sweet, innocent baby boy? Mr. Fender? Can't quite picture that, I have to say. These decorations, they're all the same ones as the ones you saw. They're all the same ones you saw 18 years ago, correct? Yup, salt lamps, glowing fabric, light-emitting doodads, the whole bit. There were 4 luminous cloths in use. I'm sure I saw another one somewhere. I'm not lying, it's in my bag somewhere, I'm sure of it. Chocolates? Gee, I think we'll frown it. Maybe I should jog her memory with something so Miss Scone will tell us more. Miss Scone? You're something of a specialist. How might someone learn to make a poison gas that was used in the attack? Any ideas? Well, any pharmacist who's ever handled Infesticide Ultra would know for a start. After all, it says right there on the label, do not mix with products containing ubiquium. Ever. What about a layperson? It's unlikely they'd know, wouldn't you say? I suppose so, yes. Well, not unless they had a nose through the alternate cookbook, anyway. Prize from the contest 18 years ago. Recipe for making Infesticide Ultra, along with that not mixing it with ubiquium bit, is in there, you know? So you're familiar with the contents of the book? Oh yes, dear, I know it inside out. Because I work for the Tangaroa group, you see? We're the company behind Cold Killer X. I'm sure you've heard of it. Cold Killer X bites back sniffles and sneezes with ease, apparently. After Sammy Poople was found guilty, the company took custody of the book. But they only grant their most trusted people access to it, of course. Scone is one of these elites, I suppose. You had a piece of fabric like this in your bag, did you not, Miss Scone? Albeit in a somewhat grimier one? Grimy? How rude! You won't get people to cooperate with your little investigation like that, young man. Shall I call it a dish towel then? Perhaps use it to wipe up some sort of spillage? A spillage, he says. The cheek! That's a piece of highly specialized luminous cloth. Oh, I probably should have told you. I think I'd like to know a little more about this highly specialized luminous cloth, if you don't mind. Why didn't you want me to know you had a piece of luminous cloth in your bag? Oh, well, I suppose there's no point in hiding it now, is there? If you must know, I fished it out of the fountain. It was right before they called me into the autumn wing. Hilarious sketch of Miss Scone when she was trying to retrieve the cloth. At first, I thought it was one of the ones I'd given Moody Judy. One of the 4 you'd given to the gallery, correct? Exactly. but all 4 were being used in the autumn wing, weren't they? So I realized, must be the one that went missing all those years ago. I'd already had my infesticide ultra pinched and used to make poison gas. If one of my claws turned out to have been used in some sort of dastardly deed too, well, I was gonna look guilty as sin, wasn't I? So I kept it hidden in my bag and hoped for the best. I see. Oh, it does feel good to get it off my chest, though. Stress is no good for the complexion. The cloth that disappeared 18 years ago. The one that the victim was wrapped in. Just happens to have reappeared in the fountain at the same time as the body. Hey there, Malzabino. What's the situation with the investigation? Things are progressing. I think a fuller picture of what happened is beginning to emerge. Good to hear. Guess I better step up my game too then. This case seems to have a lot in common with the incident from 18 years ago. And how? It's got the lot. Melting statues in the winter wing and even the murder victim's body. How did nobody ever figure out that the body had gone missing? Yeah, that's the number one. Frost had no family apart from his son. Well, the kid kind of vanished. Nobody's seen him since around the time of the incident. Augusta's son, too. Him and his best pal from school just up and disappeared. What? And they were never found? Augusta's boy wasn't. Not as far as I heard, anyhow. Guess Frost Kid turned up in the end, though. He collected his inheritance at some point. But yeah, with no family around after the incident, Frost got no funeral, no nothing. So no need for the police to release the body, and no need for anybody to find out that they didn't have it. They filed their fake autopsy report, and nobody was any wiser. Well, almost nobody. I can't believe Mr. Von Karma would have stooped so low. You can't? After everything you went through, you can't? Tell me, Fender, what kind of person is Miss Bound? Huh? Wait a minute. Don't tell me you've got a thing for her, Milester. I do not. Yeah. Gumshoe. Like gumshoe. Chill, chill. I'm just yanking your chain. Anyway, what can I say about Judes? Well, she's a real brave trooper for one. What else do you call someone who waits around for 18 whole years like she has for Samson? Even after his extended family kicked her out of this place. What? They threw her out? Yep. Jude wasn't technically part of the family, so there was nothing she could do. She had nothing. Nobody. No job after Samson took the fall. She had no choice but to take what he taught her and make her own way in showbiz. She's retired from all that now, though. Yes. Why did she retire? She finally made enough to buy the old place back. She even got the ultimate cutbook back from the Tangaroa group after they basically stole it. What is she? 34 and she's retired. Gel. Guess this place and everything to do with it is all she ever cared about. So she just wanted it back. All of it. stranger seems very sympathetic. Miss Pounds, from a less charitable perspective, she has, in a way, taken everything saying gorillas for herself. The Ultimate Cookbook contained instructions on how to create the poison gas. And the current owner of that book is none other than Miss Judy Bound. No way! You mean... I'm afraid I do. Miss Bound would have been perfectly capable of setting up the gas trap. Finally, we can prove that she's been lying to us. What a bitch! Why is there a lift cart just sitting here out in the open? Guess somebody must have been moving something heavy. The top of the platform seems to be wet. You know, I've got a funny feeling I've seen this thing somewhere before. You mean like 18 years ago? Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. I last saw it in Frost's room. Oh shit, yeah, there it is. He must have used it to move the ice sculptures around. It's one of those fancy numbers where you can change not only the platform's height, but even its angle. If you had one of these, you could move giant lumps of ice around, no sweat. Ooh, just think of the possibilities. I could really use one of these. So it doesn't explain what it's doing here, though. Bit of a head scratcher. We should give it a think, yeah? Indeed, after all, might just have something to do with our kicks. Investigation complete. Ooh, that was hot. And that's that. All that's left now is to await the results of the tests on the teapot. To be continued. Dun dun dun. Alright. Save. Alright. I'm gonna go eat this pizza. Anyway, stay tuned. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you all later.